We just heard that Jesus said to his disciples, "When the advocate comes, whom I will send you from the Father, the Spirit of truth that proceeds from the Father." And again, he says, when he comes, the Spirit of truth, he will guide you to all truth. Have you ever wondered why the Holy Spirit is called the Spirit of truth? If you were able to listen to or to be here for the liturgy talk this past Wednesday about the new church update, you heard Jefferson Strickland talk about the transcendentals, the transcendental qualities of God, that God is truth and goodness and beauty. And St. Thomas Aquinas added unity. So that God himself is truth and goodness and beauty. That means that all that God does is good. He cannot do evil. In fact, evil is a deprivation of the good of God. And so also is a deprivation of all that is true and beautiful. Likewise, all of creation is beautiful because God made all creation. Everything God makes resembles and reflects him who is beautiful and true and good. And so the creation and the reality that God made is true and good and beautiful because it was made by God. Listen to the Catechism of the Catholic Church. Paragraph 41 says, all creatures bear a certain resemblance to God, most especially man, created in the image and likeness of God. The manifold perfections of creatures, their truth, their goodness, their beauty, all reflect the infinite perfection of God. So again, everything in the world that is good and true and beautiful is a reflection of God himself who made them. And remember that Jesus said that he is the way, the truth, and the life. He can say that because he is God. He is the Son of God. He is the truth. He is the Word spoken by the Father. Likewise, Jesus says that the Spirit, Holy Spirit, is the Spirit of truth and will testify to the Father and all that Jesus said and did. The Spirit of truth will testify to God himself and will lead every person who is searching for meaning, searching for truth. Ultimately will find it in God himself, who is truth, and all that God has made and established. So what I want to do today is highlight certain truths that are somewhat not believed in and untestified to today, and also begin to reveal their goodness and their beauty. That truth I'm going to talk about is about human life. Though some might find it confrontational or hard to hear, it is a truth, and I must testify to the truth. Some of you might think, oh, why is he going to use this platform to talk about human life instead of talking about the beauty of this Feast of Pentecost? And believe me, I thought that very same question all week long as I was praying over these readings. But each and every time I did, I came back to this reality, this truth, We cannot know the gift of the Holy Spirit without hearing his truth, which is the same Holy Spirit leads us in our own lives and personal, practical ways of life. So here we go. In the beginning, after God made the beauty of creation, the sun, the moon, the stars, the land, the water, and all the animals on the land and sea were made, he called it good. Of course, he made it, so it's good. Then Genesis says that God said, "Let us make man in our image." Male and female, he created them. And he said that the two shall become one flesh. And God commanded them to be fruitful and multiply. And after he looked at all that he had made, he found it very good. This means, my brothers and sisters, that God made marriage to be between a man and a woman. Marriage is between one man and one woman, not between anything or anyone else, even though other relationships today try to call themselves marriages. Human beings cannot change what God has made and defined. We can only testify to that truth or not, but we cannot change it. And every happily married person knows that there is a beauty and goodness to it. It is beautiful how a man and a woman complement each other, how each see the goodness in their spouse and inspire and strive for that goodness in themselves, how the qualities of the wife sees in her caring and generous husband reveals how she needs him and is thankful God has given him to her. And how the husband sees his gentle and loving wife can temper and balance, and so inspires him to be better. There is a divine-made complementarity between a man and a woman, causing each to marvel in the other and thank God for the other. Indeed, their unity is a resemblance of God and his goodness. And this most beautifully is revealed when the husband and wife embrace each other in the marital act. Only the male and female can be fruitful and multiply. And indeed, it is very good when they do. Is there anything more beautiful and more awe-inspiring to a couple than a newborn baby? They recognize the fruit of their love. Their love is so real that it literally gives life. At the same time, they recognize that the life is a gift, that they might have helped bring it into the world, but it is still a gift. Any couple who has had a miscarriage knows every baby born is a miracle. So a child is not a commodity that anybody has a right to, no matter how much they might want one. Human life is a gift that should only come as the good and the beauty of the marital act. And so it is not right to manufacture or fertilize a human life outside a womb, nor to prohibit life by restricting of the marital act through contraception or sterilization. All of it is simply prohibiting the goodness of God and the beauty of new life. Another truth is that a human person exists at conception. That is a truth that cannot be changed. Even though people want to call it a zygote or embryo, it is still a human person. And it is not just a religious truth, it is a scientific fact. Science tells us it is a human person with a beating heart. Just days, not months or weeks after conception or even after birth, but only days after conception. No one can change that truth. Again, we can either accept it or deny it, but we cannot change it. And if we accept that truth of God, then we must stand up for it and to testify to it. To testify to the truth means we must uphold the dignity and the right of every human person, whether born or unborn, whether convenient or inconvenient, poor or rich, black or white or any color, whether sick or healthy, young or old, whatever age or ailment, every person has rights and dignity. And no mother, no person has a right to end the life of another human person, whether that person is in the womb or outside of it. Every person must testify to that truth or pay the consequences. At the same time, every child has a right to a mother and a father. Just as the complementarity of the spouses is truly a good and beautiful thing, so does a child have a right to the fullness of that goodness. All the children born of single parents testify that what is good for them, what is best for them, is to have a mother and a father who love them, not just one or two loving people. And we must stand for this truth, what is for the good of every person, not just settle for what is good enough or better than nothing. And so finally, in all these life issues, though we should do more than just testify to the truth, because it is true, we should do more than just believe the truth ourselves, but we should also share it with others. For each of these life issues is not just true, but they are also good and beautiful as well. And the further away from the truth our society gets, the further away it gets from that is true and good and beautiful. This world needs more beauty and more goodness in it. And therefore, we must testify to the truth as well. So I ask you to pray and reflect on each of these life issues. And perhaps ask yourself and ask the Holy Spirit to guide you into all truth, so you may testify to the truth for the good of society.